Are the Toronto Maple Leafs on the verge of making a game-changing move? Rumors are swirling as the trade deadline approaches, and whispers of a potential acquisition to bolster their lineup are heating up. Imagine adding a proven playoff performer who can anchor the third line and bring a winning mentality to the team. Stick around as we dive into the latest buzz and what it could mean for our beloved Leafs. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to stay updated on all things Toronto Maple Leafs. As the NHL trade deadline approaches, there's a lot of buzz surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs, and for good reason. The team is reportedly eyeing Yanni Gourde, the resilient two-time Stanley Cup champion from the Seattle Kraken. With ongoing struggles in the third-line center position, acquiring Gourde might just be the solution Toronto desperately needs. Let's break down why Gourde makes so much sense for the Leafs. First, he directly addresses the glaring need for a reliable third-line center. This has been a chronic issue for Toronto, and Gourde fits the bill perfectly. He's tenacious, fast, and fiercely competitive. He can handle tough matchups and stabilize the bottom six. His offensive and defensive versatility makes him an ideal candidate to anchor the third line, relieving some pressure off the top two lines. Moreover, we can't overlook Gourde's playoff pedigree. His track record in the postseason is nothing short of impressive. As a key contributor to the back-to-back Stanley Cup victories for the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2020 and 2021, he thrives in high-pressure scenarios. That kind of experience could be invaluable for the Leafs as they aim for a deep playoff run this year. With two Stanley Cups under his belt, Gourde brings a winning mentality that Toronto could certainly benefit from. Another significant aspect is Gourde's ability to generate depth scoring. One of the biggest issues the Leafs have faced this season is the lack of offensive production from their bottom two lines. While the top six have been performing well, the team needs someone who can help generate offense lower down the lineup. Gourde has shown he can contribute offensively and create opportunities around the net. With 5 goals and 9 assists so far this season, he may not be lighting up the score sheet, but he brings value even when he's not scoring at a high rate. However, there are a couple of caveats to consider before jumping on the Gourde bandwagon. First, let's talk about the salary cap impact. Gourde carries a $5.1 million cap hit, which, while manageable, complicates things for a team that's already close to the cap ceiling. Adding another significant contract could make things tricky in the long run, especially if the Leafs are giving up a first-round pick for a player who may only be a rental for the remainder of the season. Then there's the concern about Gourde's offensive decline. His numbers have dropped this season, which raises questions about whether he can still contribute enough offensively to justify the trade. Given Toronto's struggles with offensive production from the bottom six, bringing in a player who isn't currently producing might be seen as a risky move. So, is it worth the risk to go after Gourde? If the Maple Leafs were to acquire him, he would immediately solidify their third line. He's a player who thrives in all situations, be it on the penalty kill, in crucial defensive moments, or contributing offensively when it counts. His strong skating, competitive nature, and leadership qualities would inject a much-needed spark into the Leafs, especially in the postseason. With Gourde in the mix, Toronto would have a more balanced lineup, helping to alleviate the offensive problems they've faced from their bottom six. That said, the question remains whether he's worth a first-round pick. Some fans may argue that his offensive numbers have dipped this season, and while he has playoff experience, there's a chance his best years are behind him. Plus, with Gourde's contract in its final year, this could turn into a rental situation, complicating the decision to give up a potentially valuable asset like a first-round pick. As the trade deadline draws near, the Maple Leafs need to think long and hard about the value of bringing in Yanni Gourde. While adding a proven Stanley Cup champion and a dependable third-line center would undoubtedly enhance their roster, the price, especially in the form of a first-round pick, might be a tough pill to swallow. But if Toronto is serious about making a run for the Stanley Cup, adding a player like Gourde could be the difference maker they need. The Toronto Maple Leafs have made a significant move by placing goalie Anthony Stolarz on the injured reserve, retroactive to December 12th. Stolarz, who has been one of the standout players this season, suffered a lower body injury during the game against the Anaheim Ducks on December 13th. It's a tough blow for the Leafs, especially considering how pivotal Stolarz has been, sporting a record of 9-5-2, a save percentage of .927, and a goals against average of 2.15. In his last outing before the injury, Stolarz delivered a stellar performance against the New Jersey Devils, stopping 38 shots in a tight victory. His ability to keep the team competitive, even when outshot, speaks volumes about his skill and resilience. The Leafs had high hopes when they signed him to a 2-year deal, worth $2.5 million annually, after his impressive run with the Florida Panthers, where he was the league's top backup goalie. But here we are, left to wonder how this injury will impact the team moving forward. With Stolarz sidelined, Joseph Woll stepped in and performed admirably, securing a victory against the Ducks with a 19-save effort. Woll has also been solid since returning, with an 8-4-0 record, a .918 save percentage, and a GAA of 2.24. It's encouraging to see that the Leafs have depth in goal, but the question lingers, can Woll maintain this level of play consistently? Now, Stolarz is not expected to be available for the upcoming game against the Dallas Stars, but the good news is that he's listed as day-to-day. Coach Craig Berube mentioned that the updates have been positive, suggesting that Stolarz may not miss much time. But as fans, we know how quickly things can change in the NHL. This situation brings up a lot of emotions for us as loyal supporters. We've seen how pivotal goaltending can be in tight games, and losing someone like Stolarz, especially when he's been performing at such a high level, raises concerns about the team's ability to compete against stronger opponents. Are we confident in Woll's ability to carry the load until Stolarz returns? I'm honestly torn. On one hand, Woll has shown he can rise to the occasion, but on the other, Stolarz has been a rock for us. The Maple Leafs are gearing up to face the Buffalo Sabres this Sunday, and with Dennis Hildeby starting, it'll be interesting to see how he performs. This game could be a significant test for the team. Will they rally around the absence of Stolarz and create a strong showing, or will they struggle without one of their key players? As we watch these developments unfold, it's essential to consider the implications for our playoff aspirations. The team has shown promise this season, but every injury, especially to a player like Stolarz, can shake the foundation of a team. I want to hear what you think about these decisions. Do you believe this was the right move for the Leafs? How do you feel about Woll stepping in? Let's engage in this discussion. Drop your thoughts below in the comments. Are you confident in the team's ability to weather this storm, or do you think we might be in for a rough patch? Your opinions matter, and I want to hear every bit of frustration or optimism you have regarding our boys in blue. And hey, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow Leafs fans, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates. Make sure to activate the notification bell so you won't miss any crucial news about the Maple Leafs. Let's keep the conversation going and support our team through thick and thin. Go Leafs!